And today we're talking about faxing and driving.
Faxing while driving. It can wait. I fax while driving. It's a lot easier. I just write it out and I put it through the fax machine.
AT&T sent us a new fax machine.
New Brother MPF 200 facsimile machine.
Fits right on your dashboard.
Fits right on your dashboard. Plugs in through the cigarette lighter. Hi, I'm Zach Rosenberg.
And I'm Brian Ferguson. 8-Bit Dad is the modern parent source for real fatherly opinions, which is updated daily. In this show, we talk about some of the awesome articles written by other fathers around the internet.
And where do we find those stories?
We find them at our new Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/dadbloggers. You'll find 162 of us. 25 are new.
It's a whole lot of guys.
Didn't know if you knew that. But we're getting new people like each day.
It's a really cool group.
Yeah, and we talk about dad stuff.
It was started by Orrin Miller, who is Blogger Father.
Blogger Father.
Who we never thought would come around like this.
Well,
he's a little standoffish, but hey, aren't we all?
You can like.
He's always been a nice guy.
Yeah, you can like the dad bloggers. All of us. We're yeah. You can, I don't know. We're a package now.
Yeah,
we're packaged.
You like the dad
shrink
bloggers.
wrapped and ready for distribution. Facebook.com/dadbloggers
totally.
is where you can find our stories. So yeah, we're going to be talking about some of those stories today. This is actually our first show of 2013. We tried this show last week, just didn't work out. So we're redoing it this week.
That's right. So 2012 was great.
What?
We're not.
That's a recap and a half.
2012 was perfect. Good luck for the future.
Yeah. How's your year going so far?
Well, since it's been like 6 months already, since the show and whatever. Well, it's been so long since we did a show. It's
been like a couple months.
Since like November, I think. Yeah. But I don't know. 2013's been great. I've been working again, so I can pay rent.
There you go. Yeah.
I've been kind of published around places.
Yeah, you got the Huffington Post.
HuffPo published a piece by me.
What is it?
HLN, Good Men Project.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. How was your 2013 so far?
Sucks.
Perfect. So I'd like to hear.
But yeah, so whatever.
So 2013, here's to you. Raise your glass. So we had two stories from this Dad Bloggers group that we wanted to share with you guys. They're recent as of our show last week. But what's the first one we got here? Scott Besson.
Scott Besson. Being a father makes you better at your job.
Does it?
Maybe. Let's find out.
He makes a good case for it.
Yeah, because, I can't tell you how many times that I've had to deal with just the, okay.
If you work with Brian, now's a good time to turn the show off. Now's a good time to...
If you work with me, just turn it off right now.
Just mute it for a while. We'll give you the double thumbs up when it's time to get the volume back up. Volume up.
Yeah. There's certain situations where people just... I may have a different level of understanding when it comes to technology, but some people don't. And...
That's for sure.
It's kind of like dealing with a child at that point.
My cubicle's next to the IT desk, so I hear that going on all day.
Yeah, it's a lot of, have you tried turning it off and on again? And did you try?
What do you mean I need an iTunes account? Yeah. I already have a cellular account. Isn't it the same? That was a big one last week. I was like, lady, you're working on my last nerve, and I'm not even in IT. I don't even need to field the question. I just heard it on the other side. I was like, just need headphones.
But
so patience was a big thing that he mentioned. That seems like it's the most truthful
Yeah,
it makes you like Scott was saying in his article. He's learned to be more patient, more tolerant, and less of a type A person. Because of that, he's far more happy, relaxed, and he's learned to better separate what's worth worrying about and what isn't. Which is really like you get that big picture thing.
Totally.
Where like with like especially now that my kid's not a baby, you get a lot more of that like. If it's not bleeding, it's not a problem type thing. like that. It's probably not what he's talking about. Like the what's worth worrying about and what isn't.
Yeah.
But like it's true. Like you see your kid doing so much stuff and they're exploring and they're whatever, and whether it's physically or emotionally or mentally, you learn like what not to worry about. And it goes over into your work life, or it should. Where you see. Whether it's drama in the workplace or whether
you
it's
don't stress over the small details.
You can prioritize things a lot better, I think, because you're used to prioritizing like a child's life as opposed to just like, do I get this done first or this done first? Well, let's do this and let's do this on this side.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, I definitely like that analogy.
Yeah.
I mean, because it does take sort of a certain type of management too. To manage a human.
Yeah, definitely.
And an office is sort of like the same thing. They're like both living organisms.
Yeah.
And they both get sick and have mental issues. They have breakdowns. They have
tantrums. There's definitely
communication
tantrums.
issues. There's,
stuff to unplug.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, Scott also mentions, and it was Scott, right?
Yeah.
We covered it last week and I tuned out for a while. So Scott mentions the Boston College Center of Work and Family did a study on this same topic. And he found that 64% of working dads agree that involvement with their family gave them knowledgeable skills that made them a better employee. And then 61% agreed that a family life made them use their time more efficiently, helping them be better employees. And 82%, that's a lot, agreed that family life has made them feel happier, helping them be better employees. So the numbers are there.
Yeah.
Scott's a numbers guy. I like him.
Yeah, he's a stats guy. I can see he likes baseball. He's got that baseball.
Yeah.
I think what was that, Fenway?
I couldn't tell you. I know nothing about baseball.
You're a basketball guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, good article. Check that out. His website's fathersworkandfamily.com. Next story was a story from Chris Rowley. This is, does being a stay-at-home dad make one emasculated? No? Now stop asking.
And, Chris is a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
He just moved, him and his family.
Oh, yeah? Where did he move to?
Or he and his family. I forget if he moved from, Maryland to Oregon or Oregon to Maryland or something. I think he moved to Oregon, though.
Yeah, I think he moved from the East Coast to West Coast.
Somewhere on the East Coast.
He went the East to the West.
He went from the East Side to the Best Side. Something. But anyway, so he runs a site called daddydoctrines.com. And he's got a good point here, which we didn't necessarily mention yet. That's my fault. Which is, that a lot of people still ask, do you, even in this age of enlightenment over fathers, which there's a whole debate in there also, people still ask whether he feels emasculated for being a stay-at-home dad. I
don't know.
People ask him, who asks these
That takes more balls to be a stay-at-home dad than it does to
go to an office and do exactly what you're told by your boss. Come on, seriously,
yeah.
Where's the, that's what I never got is it's staying home, taking care of your kids and being a good father and doing that stuff playing with your kids all day and reading to them and making sure that they're fed and clothed and clean. How is that being emasculated? But going to an office and sitting at a desk when someone's here, sit here and do this report.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit you with a newspaper.
I mean, if
how's that not being emasculated?
If you like your job, maybe it's a little bit different.
Of course. And if anyone from my job's watching, that's not what I feel about this office. Please give me a raise.
If you like your job, that's cool. But you are, I don't know.
It's a whole different ball game. Like, I don't get why, like, how come one is like, how come it's binary? Like, if you're here, you're not emasculated. If you're here, you are.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things about this whole idea of emasculation is there's no, as far as I know, I kind of talked about this with Chris, and here comes the part of the show where I throw up into my hand. If you watch every show, it happens about midway.
Do a montage
of me going. That's an easy segment we can get up without much work.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I think the stigma is and has been that women are supposed to take care of the kids, and it's been like that since like the 50s, and we're slowly trying to get over that. We've done a lot as a country, and I think we've kind of that's kind of been a low priority on the totem pole, as it were, to kind of get over this whole idea that moms are, after the women's rights movement, where women fought to work and have equal
and we're like, no, raising kids and doing laundry is not our job.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I think it goes back to that whole idea where if you're taking care of kids, you're like a woman.
Exactly.
And that sucks.
Yeah, exactly. And it implies a power struggle that, well, if you're at home and you're taking care of kids, then you're no better than a woman, which then says, okay, well, then do we think lesser of women? No. So Chris kind of gets into the idea of all that kind of, like, the idea of emasculation and the idea of that there's no real word for that in for women. Like recently, like in this last week, which maybe it's good that this got delayed, but in the last week, women are now allowed to serve in combat situations in the United States. So if someone were to go to a woman, which maybe this has been happening on the news, and say, well, now serving in battle, does this make you feel defeminized? Because that's got to be like the closest thing that you can say to a woman. That's like the female version of emasculation. Like, is this defeminize you by giving you a gun and making you go kill people?
But that's the thing. I mean,
and like
women support the image of being strong.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, it's not like it's a bad thing.
Exactly.
And I don't understand why it has.
But again, it's that gender power struggle where it's like, well, women can come up to the level of a man, but the man can't go down to the level of a woman, which is stupid. Why can't it just be like? I don't
understand why we have two different. Why a woman is different.
Yeah.
I mean, I know why.
I don't get why a woman's different either, honey. But
different parts. But
it feels all the same to me. We can cut that out, right?
I don't know.
But no, there's an interesting thing where it's implied that the woman is coming from a lesser place and the man is coming from the higher place.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Until all of a sudden he's a stay-at-home father and then he's in the lesser place. And it's changing, but it's changing slowly, like way too slowly.
Yeah. Well, Chris also mentions Ricky Lake.
That's true. He does.
What is?
Well, Andy Hines from Beta Dad and Charlie from How to Be a Dad were both on Ricky Lake.
Yeah, they were talking
with their
about
kids,
this.
And they were talking about this. Yeah, and she was asking, like, do you feel emasculated being at home? And they were like, no. Yeah. That's funny because Ricky Lake's like a talk show host, and then talk show hosts were, until like Sally Jesse Raphael, they were like all men, and they're still, it's I guess with Oprah kind of cracked that nut and made it kind of the woman's thing.
She definitely cracked some nuts.
She definitely cracked some nuts.
Cracked
Lance Armstrong's.
It's nuts.
Bam. But it's like, does Ricky Lake feel like less of a woman because she's in charge of a room full of people? Like, no. And because she's wearing a pantsuit? No, of course not. So it's just,
she wears a lot of pantsuits.
That's what she does. Well, she rocks them.
Yeah. Can't say anything bad about that.
What can you do? Yeah. She makes it work. So, it's a really good discussion that it needs to, like, Chris's article is not the last time we're going to see that.
Well, you commented on it.
I commented on that. I felt so passionately that I commented.
Yeah. That hysterical thing. Yeah.
Yeah. The word hysterical, which we talked about in the comments, comes from the old Latin word for uterus. So back in the day, in ancient Rome, the only people that could be hysterical were women because it had to do with specifically the uterus. And they thought when she was PMSing that she was going literally insane or something. So I don't know. That all plays into it. It's a really interesting topic. Like I said, it's not going to be the end of it.
No.
Because I plan on swooping in and stealing it. Don't play this show because I want to steal it next week.
So, yeah, that's those two stories that we wanted to cover.
And Chris and Scott, great articles, and they're both in that Dad Bloggers group.
Yeah, we'll cover more stories next week, so be on the lookout for that when it happens.
Or doesn't.
Or doesn't.
if we decide to pull a December.
Yeah, it's always that.
And if you have a story that you'd like to see us cover on the show, we'd love for you to email us. And you can do so at dads@8bitdad.com.
Yes. You can like us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/8bitdad.
And be sure to follow us on Twitter. And that's twitter.com/8bitdads.
Yeah. So that's it for this week. I am Brian Ferguson.
And I'm Zach Rosenberg. And for more videos, you can definitely check us out at your leisure at 8bitdad.com.